Hi, I'm here to talk about why family housing supports local area coordinators in Swansea. As a community housing association, we're passionate about the communities we serve. We recognise the importance of safe, warm and affordable homes. But we know good outcomes for people in our communities rely on so much more. Although with our partnering organisations, we all seek to provide a great service, people fall through the cracks, and that's where local area coordinators step in. In Swansea, the coordinators work with people who feel isolated, alone, physical or learning disabilities, mental health needs, people who are at a stage in their life where they're most vulnerable and they need help. Asking the question, what would make life good for you? Local area coordinators work alongside people to support them to get there. Not doing, but helping. Not dictating, but enabling. We've seen people's confidence grow as they work their way through the complex map of community and care services. People feel supported to build the connections that will transform their lives. It could be helping people to join local groups, embrace healthier lifestyles, or reduce barriers to digital inclusion. Measuring outcomes can be challenging, but we have seen an overwhelming catalogue of stories and shared life experiences that have shown the value coordinators bring, how they support people to lead a vision of a good life, their vision of a good life, and help communities flourish. And during COVID, the number of coordinators increased across the city, and the impact on sustaining people's health and well-being was transformational. The stories were life-affirming, and the lessons for how we deliver support going forward deep and impactful. We now need to take these learnings and come together as a steering group. We've seen the approach work, and it's made us stop and think. We've seen that at the heart of this approach are human connections and how fostering relationships make change happen. We're now looking to learn on the success and sustain local area coordinators. How can we design our systems to support this approach? How can we help people to continue to help themselves? How can we support others to make change happen? Here at Family Housing, we support local area coordinators. Thank you.
At Pobl, we've invested in local area coordination for a couple of years now, and an investment is exactly how we see it. An investment in our communities and our residents, where people and communities are empowered to take back control and given influence with far less reliance on services and the statutory sector. The project questions the institutional structures that we as service providers have put in place over the years with good intention to help people in need. Turns us away, I think, from this deficit-based model to a model where we focus much more on people's strengths and dreams and aspirations, and then looks to connect people to the vast network of informal structures which are rich across our communities. It's been a really exciting couple of years to see the network of local area coordination across Swansea grow, especially in areas for Pobl where we've got a large number of homes and a big interest. There's so many stories out there that I'm sure will be shared with you that show the benefits of local area coordination. But for me, it's about puts people firmly in control of what happens in their own life and how they want to start creating the sort of life that they want. And it all starts with genuine conversations, learning to get to know people at a very deep level. As a partnership in Swansea, we measure the impact of local area coordination has across our communities. At Pobl, we've seen the impact that the local area coordinator that operates there has on one of our regeneration areas. So we're seeing less reliance on health and care service. We're seeing a reduction in prescribed medication for mental health. And we're seeing indications that people supported by local area coordinators are becoming more conscious of life choices that stops, for example, escalating ill health or pulling away from toxic relationships that are damaging. I think the lockdown shone a really bright light on the work of the local area coordination team across Swansea. It wasn't formal services that stepped in to support the most vulnerable in our communities, but the army of volunteers across communities connected up by local area coordinators. So at Pobl, we'll continue to invest in local area coordinators, and we'd urge anyone else who isn't already on this journey to take a much closer look. Thank you.
This pandemic has brought into sharp focus what matters to all of us, and going back to the way things were before simply isn't an option. Local area coordination presents an opportunity to turn the world of community development the right way round. It's tried and tested, it has an international evidence base, and it is a genuinely preventative approach, living and breathing the motto, get a life, not a service. At Coastal Housing, we've invested many years in constantly studying how systems of work are designed to meet what matters to the communities we serve, and it's the design of local area coordination that makes it so special. So coordinators are recruited by the citizens in the communities that they then work in, so relationships are formed right from the outset. Coordinators are locality-based, not needs-orientated, so they relate to people and communities, not problems or labels. Coordinators are organised around populations of between 8 and 12,000, and those boundaries are co-designed by communities. Coordinators walk alongside people to surface strengths and connect people to others who share similar passions. There are no thresholds, there's no eligibility criteria. Relationships aren't time-bound or limited or restricted to specific outputs or outcomes. It is a truly relational alongside-a relationship. And there's a deliberate reframing of some of the institutional language that so pervades so much of service land. So we use language like making introductions rather than referrals, and these are really subtle changes, but they have a powerful, powerful impact. For the last 5 years or so in Swansea, we've worked as a leadership group to keep true to the principles, maintain fidelity to the model, keep citizen stories and experiences front and centre, and have grown local area coordination, which meant that when coronavirus hit, those citizen-led hyper-local networks were largely in place. We're at a really unique crossroads in our history. This public health crisis has been and continues to be one of the biggest challenges of this generation. We've seen bureaucratic organisations unshackle themselves to do what's right. We've seen communities self-organising to take care of each other. And we've seen that when the chips are down, it's our micro-neighbourhood and public infrastructure that we depend on. Local area coordination isn't a community development programme that abseils conditional cash into a neighbourhood for a limited period and abseils out again. It's about the long haul and the hard yards. It's about being alongside people, navigating the toughest of challenges and asking questions like, what do you care enough about to act on? It's about being alongside people as a fellow traveller and nurturing the connections that bring purpose to life. We'll never have an opportunity like this again. For all the trauma this pandemic has brought, it's also shown us that many of the old ways were not the right ways. And I hope that in the future, all communities in Wales will get to experience the incredible impact of local area coordination.